let's do it.
Welcome to Life Unleashed. I'm your host, Sierra Cooper, and today we have Jen Hardy. Hi, Jen. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you doing today? Thank
I'm
you again for inviting me. This is so cool.
happy Monday. So,
Happy
okay,
Monday.
so you're an author, you do business vendor events, you sing, you've got a podcast radio show that has just exploded. You've got so many followers. You went to Cali, did the whole YouTube thing. So you've got so much going on. Tell us what got you in to everything that you do, because you're very interesting.
Oh, thank you. So are we starting at the beginning, like how like the impetus for
Yeah,
starting the podcasting?
yeah, let's start in chunks. Like
Okay.
from the one chunk you want to start at. Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So long story short, um, I live on this island. I got 7 kids. 2 live with me. 5 are adults doing their thing. And back when they were mostly all with us, because life, I was really sick, and I they told me I had a year to live. That was back in 2018, and devastating, as you could imagine. But I didn't live in that for very long because I didn't want to. And so I thought, you know what? What am I going to do to if I've got a year, right? What would I do? I'm going to start podcasting. It's what I want to do. I want to help other people. So I did. And that single action changed my life. It really, truly did because I decided I was going to do something and move forward. And I have to say that I don't think that everybody who is given a diagnosis like that, it's not just mind over matter. I don't think that's fair to say. I really don't. And I always want to make sure that I point that out. But I think we all have a finite time, right? And I just think everybody should be doing the things they really want to do because you don't know. And so I started podcasting and it gave me this whole, I don't know, like new whole thing with life. It was
Yeah.
amazing. And from that I wrote a book, and that, it was bad and it was really ugly, and that's okay because I wrote a book and it felt really good. Since then I've written 5. My last one was a bestseller on Amazon for over 30 days, which was cool. But all my stuff in the beginning was talking about being a sick mom, and that got really depressing. And I know you work with a mindset, right?
I
And
I
if
do.
you're
I do.
constantly talking.
I just have to commend you on moving forward like you have, and you've never digressed, you've always progressed. And that's one thing that I talk about with people going through recovery processes in their life, whether it be emotional, physical, psychological. The more you stay stuck in one place, the more it becomes you. So, and you, and I just want to point out to a lot of people that are going to watch this, because this is not like we're talking like just a thyroid disease. What exactly were you diagnosed with?
So I have 2 different things that are vying to take me out. I have myasthenia gravis, which is it means grave muscle disease is what it means, and it affects my swallowing and my sight, and then a little bit the rest of my breathing. And but I also have my muscular dystrophy, which is that's the progressive disease, and because of that, the doctors, it was interesting. My husband was with me in the doctor's office in 2019, and the doctor was shocked when he looked at my skin and he said, there is no way you should be sitting without being strapped in a wheelchair, let alone walking. You should not have walked into my office. He was absolutely blown away. And that was 7 years ago, and I am still walking to this day. And it's amazing. It's amazing. There's a lot of things I can't do, and some people really get stuck. And I think that's like the people you talk to, right? You get stuck in what you can't do. Like I'll never run. I will never run again. My son, every time I go to the doctor, used to say, "Can you run now?" No. I'm not going to go hiking. I'm not going to whatever. Although, when I get enough rest and I save it up, because I think of energy like a bank, I can do things. I went to Germany to watch, and I wanted to watch a football game with my daughter. And the way there it's set up, which is soccer here, silly. But you have to walk a mile uphill to get to this game. And my daughter's like, "You can't do it, Mom. You can't go." And I'm like, "Oh." And I did. I did. I walked a mile up and I walked a mile down and I went to the soccer game. And I really, but it's mindset. It is, and taking care of my body in the meantime so that I can do those things.
Well, and it's really amazing that you use your energy in so many facets. I mean, you're using your brain to mold every feeling, every thought into your books, into your music. You're using your voice to vocalize, to express everything that you feel the need for people to understand, which is coming to the next point about women. And I love it because you're like a huge go getter supporter of women. And I'm not a feminist, but the thing is, I don't think women understand, right? We really do need to stick together. Like, it's great to be married, it's great to have these relationships and all that. But women, I don't want to say are superior to men, but I will actually say that because they're multifaceted. I mean, we multitask all the time and we're asked a lot of. So you hit a point with getting to a specific age, which I don't believe in age, and you don't at your age, and you don't look your age, so who cares? But you came to a point where like you started noticing, like, oh my God, this is what it's like to be 50, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to make a documentary about it because it's crazy. It's crazy because, and I didn't realize I was not an ugly person when I was younger. Like, I really felt like I was super ugly. When I look back at pictures, I'm like, what the heck? I wish I looked like that now. But, doors were opened for me. When I got pulled over, I didn't get tickets. Like, like there's a certain standard of whatever that I didn't realize I was living, but I
Yeah.
was until it was over. And then I walk up to a door and people will like pretend like they don't see me and keep going or shut it when I'm right there or whatever. And it was god awful. And it really was because I don't know, like it was just bad. And I thought this is what people are talking about when they talk about ageism. I never realized. But here's the thing though. Here is the thing. When my YouTube channel started taking off and I saw myself on camera every day, I was like, hey, this isn't the person I want to see on camera. Okay. It's not, I'm not comfortable with it. So I made some changes. I didn't have surgery, I didn't have whatever, but I made, and that's fine. Like people can do all the things. It's just my mom had a plastic surgery gone wrong. So I made the choice not to do that. And but I made a lot of changes and I look like a completely different person than I did 2 years ago. And let me tell you what, now when I go to the store, people open the door, people do all the things, and it honestly makes me mad. It makes me mad because they didn't do it for me 2 years ago.
Change because I know women have a very hard time, right? I mean, even sometimes they have a hard time even sitting around with their girlfriends, having cocktails, laughing, and they'll kind of carelessly joke about something that's actually really bothering them. And they want answers, but they don't want to come out and say, "Oh, look, I kind of feel vulnerable right now, and this is where I'm at." So, what's some tips for women that all of a sudden wake up one of these days and they go, "Oh my God, where did the time go? Like where is me?" You know?
Yeah, that is literally what I'm just about. What the platform that we're launching right now is addressing the woman exactly in that spot, right? She's raised her kids. Her identity has been like, I'm Susie's mom. I'm Bob's wife. I'm the vice president of X company. And all of a sudden, Susie's moved out. She's talking to you maybe once a month if you're lucky. Bob is checked out physically, emotionally. Bob does his thing. And then you're retiring, right? So you're like, oh my God, I had these labels of mom and wife and X thing, and now I am no one, like really. But then the thing is this, you need to pick the new label. Like, what are you now? And it can, my encouraging thing is not to just like completely restructure and whatever and reinvent. And because a lot of people talk about that, but that doesn't feel real and it feels undoable. If you're sitting in your house, you're like, but I don't want to reinvent. I don't want to buy a whole
Yeah.
new wardrobe or whatever, right? My thing is go back to what you always wanted to do. There's a lot of things that people my age wanted to do, and we were told, you don't want to be an artist. That doesn't make money. It's not practical. You don't want to be a writer. That doesn't make money. It's not practical. You want to be an accountant. And so maybe you've been an accountant for 30 years And all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, I've always hated numbers. What the heck? And the thing is, you could be an artist today. You could start fulfilling that dream. You can go if the to the dollar store if you need to and buy yourself a little paint set or the craft store and start
Wouldn't you
doing things
say it's
today.
like your inner child? I mean, like with you right now, right? So I just gotta point this out because
Yeah,
for many people, they try to seek out their vibrancy through others. And then they totally don't understand that it really does start within your inner child. And it's like, let it out and let it go play. I mean, when you play, you intellectually stimulate and grow and manifest and get all this stuff going so much quicker, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. And and that's another thing about people over a certain age. We were told like grow up, act your age, grow up, grow up, grow up, right? And so we did way too fast. We didn't allow ourselves to play. And that's the thing. That's why my thing is like going back, right? Going back to the person that you were, that you wanted to be, whatever. Like I was a total punk when I was in high school or whatever.
I can
And
see that.
I've gone back to picking some of those items of clothing that always were me. They're not what's in fashion. They're not what's in the magazines. And you know what? I don't care though, because I feel good about myself and I feel like this is the person that I wanted to be. Everyone told me I had to stop, right? Sit down and shut up. Sit down and shut up and do your job.
Well, the thing is, right? I mean, if we were all alike, it would be really boring. Like, I hate the mundane, the monotony, everyone has to buy the same type of house and dress the same type of way and have Tommy Bahama in their house everywhere if you live here in Florida. It's stupid. But what you're trying to individually say to everybody out there, you didn't just come from successful people. You didn't just do this. This has been a cultivation over many, many years and chapters in your life. And so I think a lot of people want to rush that, like they don't want the journey. They want the cruise.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I did come from successful people. My dad was very successful. He
Okay.
was an entrepreneur. He had an office at home. But this is the thing. This is the time
How to
thing.
draw out questions, by the way.
What's that?
This is my strategy on how to draw out the past. I got to point this out. Come
I
on.
love it. So my dad had an office at home back when no one had an office at home, right? And I didn't realize how much that influenced me until a few years ago. I have been an operator at AT&T. I sold insurance for State Farm. I was the EMT in the emergency room. Like I've done all these things
Yes.
and I was never happy. And people are like, you're just lazy. You don't want to work. And I'm like, oh no, I want to work. And finally I figured out, Sierra, I want to work for me because that's what my dad did. My dad, every dime he earned, he kept.
Me
That's
too.
what I wanted. And so, and it is a full on long game, y'all. It's a long game. And yeah, you have to do whatever you need to do to sustain yourself financially while you do the thing. Like my YouTube channel, okay? It was there for 8 years. After 8 years, I barely tried. Well, that's not even true. For 30 days, I did an episode a day. And after the end of that, I still had, are you ready? 38 subscribers. 38. Eight
Yeah,
years. 38.
I
And
believe it.
then I changed and I did a couple things. And from 2 years ago to now, I have 221,000 subscribers. So it is a long
I got
game.
to ask you one question
Yeah.
because this is something I think that's very important without giving your secret away, right?
Oh, I'll
Because
give my
we all
secret
got
away.
little
I'll
tidbits.
give all my secrets
Yeah.
away.
But you this is the crazy thing, right? Were you just like in your shower one day and going like, I'm listening to Prince and I just want to like break out and do something like, because listen, right? I mean, you get in the shower, you shave your legs, you do what you do, but I mean, I don't think about, hey, by the way, I'm going to do podcasts from my shower. So, what made you just go, hey, this is a really outlandish idea. It's fun, it's cool. People are going to want to tune in and see this.
It really made me angry that no one was doing them from the shower. To me, I'm a very black and white person. It's shower thoughts. Why are you not in the shower? And so as I would watch them, I would get more and more angry and be like, this is dumb. Like, why? And they're getting millions of views. People, but you're not even in the shower. You're like on your couch. What the
I
heck?
know,
So
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, forget that. I'm gonna film out. I'm gonna batch out 100. So I batched out 100, scheduled them with one interview, scheduled them very religiously, and went on vacation. That's what I did, and that was the end of that.
So I think a lot of people, I mean, this just screams creativity. I think it like screams being in the art class, being that kid in the art class in the art room, not knowing what to do. And instead of following what the teacher's saying, they just start doing whatever they do. And then whatever they do is like Dolly, you know? And I think a lot of people, they want perfection, and I think that that is the ultimate Debbie Downer of any successful person. If they're wanting, because all those imperfect things that move around, right, as an entrepreneur, somehow, some way, they always link up, correct?
Oh God, yes. No, I am a recovering perfectionist, and done is the new perfect. And I tell you what, I have thrown some crap out there that I know is bad. I know it's bad. But my marketing team is like, no, 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 you put everything because I created 3,000 videos my first year, but only posted 1,200. And they're like, no, no, you post every one of those bad boys because one, even if it reaches one person, that's all you need. And everyone else can scroll by, that's fine. But yes, perfectionism is your downfall. It's everyone's downfall. It's especially women. I'm going to be 58 next month, okay? Women 50 and older, it was pounded into our head, right? Like your purse needs to match your shoes and like everything. And no, it doesn't. Once you let go of that, once it's like the music, right? When I started doing music, it was bad. The first song I put out, it was pretty bad. I knew it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't about being perfect. It was about me letting other women know it doesn't matter how old you are. You can write and produce your own. You can do music. You can do the thing. And so can I tell you?
Menopause, do you think menopause over 50? Because, like, I'll be 40 next year, right? So
Yeah.
I'm probably already going through perimenopause. I'm already on hormones, testosterone, all that kind of stuff. But so there's two ways of looking at menopause. There is the assumption that, okay, they're just going to dip off and be crazy. And of course, men go through adrenopause, and they get the beer belly, they're quote unquote lazy, they're couch potatoes, whatever. Do you think though there is a positivity to menopause where you just don't give a shit anymore? I mean, because I'm gonna come right out and say it, I think that is such a freeing thing when you can just say, you know what, she doesn't like me, he doesn't want to listen to me, who the hell cares, right?
Oh God, yes. Yeah, I think there are so many good things to menopause that nobody talks about, and so many that I actually have an entire album for women over 50 coming out, and one of the songs is Ode to Menopause, and it talks about all the great things. Because here's the deal: you don't have a period anymore. People don't understand how great that is. It
Oh,
doesn't matter what time of the month it is. You do your swimming, you do your whatever. You don't have to worry about whatever. And yeah, there's all these things to make it easier, but it's gone. You don't have the PMS that goes with that either. You don't have to worry about getting pregnant anymore. And for those people who never got pregnant, that's sad. But for the rest of us, holy God, it's amazing, right?
well, 7 kids, especially, I think for a lot of women so I only have one, but a lot of my friends, I have like 3, 4, 5, 6 kids, whatever. Um, it really kicks off a lot of things, or it can kick off, certain illnesses or changes in physicality and mentality and all that. So, did you see throughout the years with having a family and trying to better yourself, be a mom, be a superwoman, career woman, did it ever come to you, or like did you ever surmise like maybe at a certain point through being that mom that that was actually part of the reason why it was kind of uncomfortable for you, or it wasn't easy for you to exactly find you. Because I think for a lot of women too, they confuse like the having the family is the identity, is the full identity.
So I have to say, for me, having the family was my full identity for a very long time. I would say honestly, you know, I worked a very short time in the middle. I've been homeschooling since 2000,
Wow.
and until 2 years ago, I would say what year? I would say 22 years of that. My entire focus was my family and being with my family. I worked a year and a half in the middle. That was horrible. But they were, I mean, I folded underwear, I lined things up in the closet in color order. People talk to me now and they're like, we can't picture that, Jen. Like, we can't picture it all. That literally was the majority of my adult life. And I did feel fulfilled in that completely. But here's the thing, and I believe it has to do with turning a certain age as well. It no longer was, though. I finally, well, not finally, but at some point I said, what's in it for me? Because I had always been told I wasn't allowed to say that. And I chased what was in it for me. And now my younger kids are seeing a balance.
Yeah. Right? Because I think like it goes to like the whole thing of like people telling you, oh my God, she's overly focused on herself. She must be self-absorbed, self-centered, all this kind of bullshit. And it's like, really? No, you can't give to people if you don't have anything, right? So you kind of like went, okay, well, that is one chapter down, and now we're kind of gonna like fill the tank back up. And so
Yeah.
and so what would you say has been like the biggest highlight of like where you are now in your career?
So first I have to address something that you said though, because it's so spot on. Um, because I was a certain way and now I'm this way, I
Mhm.
have had people very near and dear to me tell me they can't believe how vain I am. They can't believe how self-centered I am. They
You know
can't
what?
believe how whatever I am. And I'm like, I'm the same person, but my brand is me. So I have to take 10 million pictures. I'm going to take video. I'm going to do whatever because that is my brand and that is what is working. And I am going to continue to do that. And this guy right here that I'm pointing to, which you can't see because it's blurred, that is my silver play button single-handedly. Biggest win of my entire adult life. My YouTube connection is off the chain incredible. And that is, I mean, aside from my children, obviously, entire win of my adult life. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think you should be very proud of yourself. I mean, my gosh. I mean, for a lot of people that don't understand entrepreneurship, and this is something that I'm going to say, because I have had people come at me, right? I've got like 10 businesses, and I've had people say, you're going to fail. Or, if you're trying to do all of this, you're gonna do this wrong. You're not gonna have enough time for your kid. There's no way you're gonna get married. There's no way you're gonna be able to like travel and do. You know what? I'm doing it. I'm doing it, and so are you, and that's great. So basically, cut the line off of all the negativity crap. And so now with your music, I got to go back to your music. Um, where did you sit in your own space and go, okay, this is the energy that I want to put into my music? Because I know music is very hard to write. It's easy, but it's hard. It's hard because when you start looking at it, you start singing, you start playing, whatever it is, you'll fine tune it along the way. So, how did you find that edginess meets softness and you convey a story?
So I've been songwriting since I was a little kid at the kitchen table with my dad. And I have been writing songs ever since then, but they had no way to get produced. Even when I lived in Nashville, I didn't try, to be honest, because they were kind of like my baby. Like I don't want him to tell me my baby's ugly, right? So I'd rather build up all this stuff. Like I used to play piano. I had a grand piano in my house. I literally gave it away last year, because I wouldn't let anyone listen to me do music because it was so important that I couldn't share it.
Yeah.
And as I've been listening to music, I mean, I can tell you if you play a song like from any like 80s, 90s, whatever, I will tell you where I was and what I was doing when that song played. It really like connects to my soul.
Did
And
someone inspire you? Like
what's that?
who are your top five artists that inspired you? I gotta ask you that.
There's not a lot that come to mind, and I will tell you my all-time number one. It's going to blow your mind. You'd never guess it. It's John Denver. I love him.
I love him. I
Love
just
him.
got him on in the car. Country.
I've got his records behind me. I went to his concert. I hate concerts, I'll be honest. His is the only one that I really enjoyed being at. 3.5 hours that man played. Um, and I'll just leave it at John Denver because I don't even know what else I would say about a lot of people. There are a lot of people that inspire me, but there's also a lot of people that are putting out garbage. And because music does attach to your soul and it imprints the words in your brain, and all this garbage that's being spewed out there by
Yeah.
people with words really started to bother me. And I thought, even if my singing is not the best, it's not. I'm not going to hit 100. I don't care if I get the top whatever. I'm going to hit the top 1 million. I don't care. The point is, I'm going to put good out in the world. I'm going to put my message out in the world. And so I've got 3 albums that are all coming out right now. So I'm doing a song a day, then an album, a song a day, then the next day an album, like three, because I want them all out. One is general stuff, right? Like I hate parades. I wrote a song about it. It's a great song. I love it. It came out last weekend. And it's done in the style of like if you're marching in a parade. Today's song is The Meeting That Could Have Been an Email. Oh my God. I think it's one of the most brilliant things ever. I just think it's hysterical. And we'll see what the world thinks. It's almost 8 minutes long. It's meant to be listened to in clips because it's each different person and their BS at meetings. Anyway, so the first album is just Jen's musings into song. But the second one is my Phoenix album. And I had released it. I pulled it because of things. And it's coming out better than it was. And it's my story. Like all those songs, they're my story. Someone listened to it and really paid attention, they would absolutely know me like inside and out. No one's gonna. It's fine. And then the last one, though. The last one is the one for women over 50. And it has to be last because in YouTube, where I'm mostly present, the most recent goes to the top, right? So I have to wait for that one. And it's killing me because it's all the messages that women need to hear. And I am just singing to them.
Well, and I'm so inspired by you because, like I want to be you. I mean, you're really funny. When I met you at Podfest, I just really, really automatically liked you. You're just very, very likable. And you could tell out of a lot of people in the room, you were willing to be inviting to people and to really kind of like talk with people, educate people, take your time, be patient with people, be a kind person. I really admire that for a lot of reasons because when I meet a lot of different people, sometimes yeah, they're funny or they got kind of like a certain presence about them, but all in all, they're just not a good person. Or sometimes I'll meet a really, like, you wouldn't even see it from the back of the room, shy, but they have so many stories that you want to sit down and just like keep talking, keep talking, keep talking. So you've got a sense of humor to you as well. And so maybe some people don't know how funny you are, but I do know you're funny.
Yeah, I actually made it to the finals of Nick at Night's Funniest Mom in America back in the day. So
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I got
So I gotta
got
ask you, do you
yeah.
like Robin Williams?
What's that?
Do you like Robin Williams? He's like one of my favorite, like
Can I
all,
be honest? Not the biggest fan.
not the biggest fan.
No, I know that's not a popular opinion.
Who's your no, but who's your favorite? George Carlin? I don't know.
Oh no, no. I like George Carlin. George Carlin, what I like about George Carlin is he had a message, right? He did comedy, but he had a message and he got his message out through the comedy. And I think that was lost on a lot of people. He was brilliant. Um, I love, I'm not gonna lie, I love Jim Gaffigan. He cracks me up. I actually did a short to tag him in because I saw Hot Pockets for $18 a box, and I was like, Jim, what do you think about this? Um, and this is the thing with me. I'm super bad with names. So if you ask me, I'm like, there's going to be five people where I go, I should have listed those people and I didn't. But those are the two that come to my mind. I love Jim because he's got a big family and, he talks about all that stuff and.
So do you take time in between everything you're doing, and do you meditate? Do you just listen to music? Do you sit down? Do you just try to get away, have some alone time to yourself? Because I know a lot of people that I talk to, right, as a therapist, I'm always talking to them about that. Like, what are you doing for you? Are you going down by the water by yourself for like a half hour? How important is your alone time?
So I am alone in my studio many hours a day. And honestly, my downtime is, well, two things. One is the beach because I just love the beach. But really, I don't do anything that anyone else does consider relaxing. I don't think. I don't binge, I don't scroll, I don't whatever. I write music and I create music, and that is literally hours a day. And that is my downtime because that is my release. And right now that is what I do. And that is how it is so prolific because I've created like 100 songs in the last 6 months. Because that is my, yeah, cathartic time.
I mean, because you come from the generation, right? And this is all my favorite stuff, like Carly Simon, James Taylor. You mentioned John Denver, the Eagles. I mean, the list goes on. Um, you come from a time where people actually did tell stories. Like
Yeah.
they actually, and it was all about the now. And like you said, the music that is being made, it has no meaning to it. It's almost like some of the movies that you see now, instead of it like making you cry, moving you, taking you back to a time in your life you're like, wow, I went through that or I experienced that. How important is this that people reach people and they're so intertwined with you on that level?
So for me as a creator, it's 100%. That's all of it. I understand that there's a lot of people that don't want that. They just want to mindlessly scroll and do whatever. Um, Personally, I don't care for that. I think people need to think. I think we've lost the art of thought.
Yeah.
And so yeah, for me, it's 100%. Yeah.
Well, I think the IQ level has definitely been dumbed down quite a bit. And thinking for yourself too, like being able to get up in the morning and go, hey, I mean, instead of going left, I want to go right here. But everybody's going left because that's what they do. And like you said, mindless scrolling. Why are people so interested in tuning out and not being present? That's the big question.
Because
Like
the
that's
world sucks right now. It
the one.
sucks. And because
Yeah.
so many people are tuned in, but so many people, it's what they're being taught to do. It's what everyone else is doing, you know? And like, for instance, my oldest kids, they didn't have phones till they were 18, like smartphones. They had to, like, oh my God, do the things. Even there were smartphones when they were in high school, and I would not let them have one
No.
because they had to text like pushing the three, five times to get the thing, whatever. And that was purposeful so that they had to get out and do things. They couldn't, sit there and whatever. Um, I couldn't do that to my kids now though, because they communicate, their friends communicate. So if I take away that, I could take away their communication, but they communicate in ways that aren't communicating. Like my daughter said, would you go back to the way tech was when you were a kid? And I said, absolutely. I would throw all this stuff in the garbage. And she's like, oh my God, we're so much more connected. No, no, you're not. You think you are, but you're not. See, because when I was a kid, we didn't have a cell phone. If I was going to call you, we were going to do something, I had to know your plan. So you would tell me, hey, Jen, today when I go home, I'm going to do this thing for this time. And then at 5 o'clock, I'm going to eat dinner with my family. And then my mom's going to take me to dance. And then I'll be home at 7. And you can call me between 7 and 7:15 because then my brother's going to have like, I knew your life. I knew it minute by minute, inside and out. And it was beautiful because we knew what each other were doing. So no, we didn't text sup. Okay, but I don't think texting sup is communicating. I don't think that's getting to know you in any way, right? And you could be doing anything in the world and tell me, oh, I'm laying out at the beach. It doesn't mean you're laying out at the beach, right? And so I think, no, we've lost. We've lost so much in the gift of technology. Now, is there beauty in the new technology? Absolutely. It's all beauty and a curse, right? But I
Well,
think if people
your
need to just unplug
well,
and talk.
what's your next endeavors like to connect with people and to like to show people, to teach people, to maybe get them enamored with a new frequency of you?
So I'm going to start speaking, lots more traveling and speaking, so that I can get to know people in person. I'm going to do a lot more things locally because I haven't done that much locally. My friends are global, and that's great, except I want humans in person, which is what I was just talking about, right? I think that's, you need that. I recently went through a life situation where I lost most of my in-person friends because they're like, that's too intense. Okay. Well, that's usually what friends do. But if it's too intense for you, that's great because there's this huge pruning, which is amazing because, as you know,
Isn't
something
it
big is coming.
crazy that people, isn't it crazy that people, especially in the time that we're living in now, right? If you sit down, like back in the day, like you could agree to disagree, right? You could be around the table and maybe none of you saw the same message, conveyed the same opinion, but you didn't have to yell. You didn't say, well, I don't want to be your daughter now, or I'm not coming over to your house anymore. It's like people are so angry and they're so thoughtless and they're so careless, and they, instead of just, it's okay, you can think what you want to think, you can say what you want to say. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop being your friend because of that, right?
Yeah, I was given really good advice by some older women when I had my younger kids and they were all little, and they said, "Would you rather be right or would you rather be in a relationship?" And
Mhm.
I have carried that with me. Now, if you're like slaying people, that's a hard pass. But other than that, like, yeah, I don't care. I really don't care. And I love actually having friends that have a different viewpoint because then they can explain to me. Like, I don't know how you got there. Can you tell me how you got there? And then they told me. And I got to tell you, I had this connection with this person. We used to do homeschooling things at this park by the beach. And this woman's like, I could never be friends with anyone who believed X. And I was like, well, I do. So what if we went down to the beach and we had this conversation? We went and sat there, kids played at the beach. We sat for 2 hours and I'm like, explain to me what you think, why you think it. And then I explained to her. And when we got up, she had explained to me the other side of X in a way that I'd never understood, right? It didn't change my thought, but made me understand so much more. And she left the beach as my friend, knowing she could have a friend who believed X. That's what I think we all should be doing.
Right, right.
That's what we need to do.
Exactly. People need to be able to, like you just said, express themselves and be in a safe place while they're expressing.
Right. And not yelling and not whatever, just like this is what I believe and why, right? There's a reason I believe what I believe. And I'm happy to share with you because I think once people like you right now, but people understand why you believe what you believe. It's more, but yeah, just to say I hate you because of whatever, it's sad.
People that can communicate and people that play music and write music or write in general have a higher IQ because you're listening, and listening is the highest form of learning. I mean, if you can actually sit and listen without listening to respond, you're taking in what that person is actually saying to you. So, um, going forward with your speaking, I just want to talk about that for a minute. because I would love to come watch you speak, and I do speaking too, and I love it, and I think it's awesome that you're doing that, especially locally, because how many people do we both know that are meandering around us and just existing, like they've got, quote unquote, all these problems, and they're just like holding it in and just going, yep, I'm just going to get up tomorrow. It's going to be Tuesday. I'm going to work and I'm coming home, cooking dinner and doing it all over again. But they never want to sit in a group, especially because sometimes there's people that are afraid to show up. So for themselves. And that's really what it boils down to. So with your speaking, what would you encourage people who either are speakers or want to go listen in and actually get something out of that? What would you tell them?
I don't understand the question. I'm so
What
sorry.
would you how would you remove the awkwardness of somebody that isn't comfortable? They're interested in learning more, or like wanting to be within a group, but they feel unworthy or unaccepted, or kind of like people are going to look at me kind of weird. And sometimes it goes the opposite way. Some people that can really get out there and speak about stuff, and they're kind of holding themselves back. What would you tell those people? What was some of the advice?
Well, I think you just need to do your thing and be yourself. And there are going to be people that don't like you. And that's okay because those aren't your people. And the sooner they let you know they don't like you, the better, because then they're out. And, because I used to want everyone to like me, right? And I was like, oh, it feels like they don't like me. What should I do? No, I
Better
should
sell
do
ice,
nothing. I should do nothing
better
because
sell ice cream.
they're done. Like they have other people. Like it's okay. And it's okay. Like it's not even bitter. Like I'm not everyone's cup of tea. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And that is okay. And the people that are vocal and make you feel bad, instead of being like, oh, they don't like, no, no, you just say, cool, you've let me know up front where you stand. That's awesome. Now I'm going to pivot over here and I'm going to go to this group. And if this group isn't your thing and they don't make you feel it, then just go to another one because there are 8 billion people out here, guys. There's a lot of people. You don't have to stay with the ones that make you feel inferior. And this whole, no one makes you feel inferior without your consent. I don't necessarily believe that because I think a lot of people who all make you feel like crap, then you start feeling like crap, right? But if you are yourself and you really spend some time thinking, who am I? What do I stand for? I have to stand for, everybody stands for something. And if it's standing for, if it seems like nothing, it's just standing for being, I don't know, lazy. I don't know what it is, but you've got to be you. And it doesn't have to be like planting your big flag about politics standing for something, but like something, like if it's kindness or authenticity or whatever, you go out into the world and you're like, I am whatever your name is. This is who I am, right? And the other thing is, especially if you're a person over a certain age, this whole beige polyester crap has got to go. It's got to go. You just start being you and dressing like you and feeling good about you. And
Perception is everything, and perseverance is everything, right? Perseverance, pushing through all those awkward moments. And so
yeah,
you're going to be talking, I'm assuming you're going to be speaking to a lot of women, correct?
that's a goal. Yes.
Okay. Now I got a question for you though.
Yeah.
Because you're
What's
a
that?
you're a mom, because you're a mom of seven. Obviously you have daughters, but you have sons, right? I'm guessing.
I do.
And a husband and all that kind of stuff. And you've been around the block a time or two, and you've seen men men need a talking to sometimes. I'm gonna be laughingly, like very jokingly saying this. Men really need to realize that they grew up in a generation, like in your generation. Oh, you don't cry. Oh, you don't talk about your face. You don't, you don't. And then it leads to all kinds of problems. Like you had mentioned, when you retire, your kids grow up, they move out of the house, and then all of a sudden your husband is like invisible. and a lot of women don't talk about that because it's very hurtful, because a lot of couples go through different things in marriages and all this. They go through those tests of time. And sometimes when you've been married for 38, 40 years and you're doing the same thing over and over again, it's like you become roommates. So, have you ever thought about maybe doing something for men as well, or couples? Because you seem to be very insightful and observant, and you use your voice to better people's lives. So, I'm kind of curious. Have you?
So I did a video for men about menopause so they could understand it better. I did it with there's things in the background like cars racing around a track or like lions, and then I'm just a little bop up there because they like to look at things moving, and that way they don't just have to watch me ramble on. Where I explain to them what they can get out of helping their wives through menopause. And I have done a song called "What Women Want," and that's up now because it doesn't talk about picking up after yourself. I miss putting that in there, but it was more about like who we are as women and what we need from them. Um, and so, yeah, so that's how I'm addressing that for now. But it is definitely on the radar. And because another thing is this, like you said, things have been the same for 30 years.
Yeah.
Even if you've just been recently married, maybe 5 or 10 or 20 years, the woman has done the things, right? She's done the things because she thought that was her job.
Mhm.
And then she says, maybe I don't want to do those things. And do you know what he does? He's pissed.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that she needs to understand is potentially going to happen is he may get very disconcerted. I don't
He
know.
can't, he can't identify. I find that in a lot of my, so it's kind of funny. I'm a sports medicine massage therapist, right? And I took some psychology. I love psychology. And I have couples that come into me. And sometimes I have married people that don't exchange that they're both coming to me at the same time. So I've got stories, right, for days. And like let's say I have Alex coming in. Oh, I gotta tell you that I gotta get some advice. And then they'll start talking about their wives or vice versa. I don't understand how people think that that's an okay place to be at in their lives. I think we got to go back a little bit and go, marriages and relationships don't have to be that hard, actually. Women and men are very, very different. But if you love somebody, you let them be themselves, for God's sakes, because you're not going to be the same when you were 20, when you're 40, or when you're 40, when you're 60. So if you had to give any advice to people that are struggling with health challenges, relationship, hormone, trying to figure out their lives, their careers, their past, whatever, what would be some simple advice for people to be able to shed that sheath and let go?
Is just this. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter where you are in your relationship or your health or money or whatever. You can decide who you want to be and take one step forward towards that every single day. Because 1% a day, that's 100% in 100 days. It's 3.5 months. It doesn't matter. If I can be literally bedridden, right? Told I'm not going to make it, and start a podcast, like from my literal hospital table next to my bed, that turns into this freaking empire. You can do anything from where you are. It doesn't matter. Stop looking at the I can't. Stop. Can't isn't allowed in my house, by the way. The word can't is not allowed. You
Yes.
can't say it. You can't say it. You're not allowed to say it. Do that for yourself. Tell yourself you can't, you're not allowed to say I can't anymore. And now what can you do? What can you do? If the
So,
whole world is I can, what can you do?
solutions. Solutions. I mean, the world would be such a better place. if
Right?
would
And what if you had a year? What if you knew you had a year? Would you live the life you're living? Would you stay in that? And I'm not saying like leave your partner, but would you stay in the muck that you're in, or would you fix it if you had a year?
exactly. I've got, I mean, I've had probably a teen dozens of clients in 23 years be diagnosed with like ALS or Huntington's or Parkinson's or, MS or whatever. Um, and yeah, I've seen instances where people actually really their eyes open and they're like, why am I living my life like this?
Yeah. And then it's kind of too late, right? Because you're already having the symptoms. Like, don't wait till then. But even if you're midway through it, even if you're what you think is almost the end, you can still, this is the thing, you can still do and you can still do things. You
Yeah.
know, you're not going to be a professional football player. Like there's limits, but other than that, there's a lot of things you can do.
Well, I really enjoyed you coming on my show, and I can't wait to have you come back on my show because you're like just doing so great on your platform for YouTube. And that right there, your message about, hey, I had like 38 people for 8 years. And then I was just like, hey, I like singing in the shower. And no one does that. You can use that humor, that kind of weird thought process to your advantage. So that's a huge win right there. And then now are you going to write another book by chance?
I am going to write another book, actually.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. And
So,
so if people want to actually find you, find everything that you're doing, keep themselves up to date on like where you're from, maybe they can check you out locally, maybe they can travel and meet you. How do they find you?
jenhardy.net. Everything's right there.
JenHardy.net.
That's
Okay.
it.
Very good. All right. Well, thanks, Jen.
Thanks. It
All
was
right.
great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I I can't say I can be on your show yet because technically I'm not in full blown menopause, but
But we should go live one time because my live show's a little bit different. I would love that.
I think that'd be fun. And I also think too, I think for my age group, I was gonna put you up there, with your whole thing you got going on. But like with my age group, where you've been before, um, it's kind of it's even kind of a transitional period a little bit too, because it's like, wow, I'm done with my dumb days. Now I'm using my frontal lobe. It's like your 40s are amazing, and
They
I
are amazing. And I think it's good to hear from people that are older that aren't like talking about the doom and gloom because
yeah,
that's all everybody's freaking talking about, you
yeah,
know?
I know. I know.
So,
I
you
didn't
know,
think I was gonna get old. I mean, I got an 85-year-old right now. She's doing yoga, she's weightlifting. She looks amazing. And she came in the other day and I'm like, wow, she's like 85. She looks incredible. And her husband is 90 and they both look like they're like in their 60s. So I'm like, you go, girl.